All right, now how upset is everybody going to be about the fact that I have not done a DCLONE fight since beta?
A few minutes later.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Homie, chill. Let's go! Ah, yes. Oh my god, that was too much stress. Ah, shit. Alright, so what is our ante right now? 43, 10, 8. That's a good ante. I can't feel my hands. So, I'm still shaking and a little bit overwhelmed by it, but what you just saw is that we have done our first D-Clone Season 2. It only took us 2 attempts. Thank you very much to Lucky Luciano. Go check him out. I'll put a something somewhere in a link. You can go check him out. Thank you for giving us the second set after we failed our first time. But what is the gear that actually got us to being able to kill D-Clone on the BURIZAZON? So we had to swap out a pretty decent amount of our gear just because you really can't walk into this with 0 survivability. It's just not an option. I think if I had infinite tries, I could find a way to shave off a lot of this max res, because theoretically you could outplay everything, and the only thing that you really need to survive is at least the first Bale Nova, unless you're playing really, really carefully. So the gear is, we are using our 6-socketed, full-ohmed 582 Buriza. We're using a 3-socket ED with stats minus requirements Veil of Steel. It's actually really hard to wear the Veil of Steel without completely respecking, and I wanted to do this on our actual Buriza build. So I didn't specifically spec anything. I didn't put any additional points into Vitality. Again, our Vitality is strictly from our Torch and our Annie. So no extra points into Vitality. This is still the Glass Cannon build, but with resistances. We made a Chains of Honor. Has 57 all-res, more than good enough, along with the 40 all-res from the Veil of Steel. We borrowed Lucky's Water Walks that have Fire Res and maximum Fire Res Slam on them. People are trying to sell Hut Spurs for 5 high runes, and I'm just not buying a pair of Hut Spurs for 5 high runes. We're using our regular Ravenfrost, our regular Nosferatus. We swapped out, somebody let us borrow their Dwarf Star that has an all-res slam on it and had higher fire absorb than ours did. We are using a Nokazans for max fire res here. And then we're using our ED slammed Laying of Hands for that enhanced damage to demons, extra ED for us, IAS because our Merc is going to die. Now, I tried to fully outfit a Merc so that it would survive. We threw a Blackthorn's face on it with res, and life in it. The reason why we did this is because I figure the hardest thing for the Merc to survive is going to be the Firestorm and the Laser. I imagine he was not going to survive a Bale Wave, so Blackthorns does give you 19 Lightning Absorb as well as max Light Res and additional Lightning Res, but he still just could not survive. We swapped him over to our Guardian Angel. He was always using Lava Gouts, which does give max to Fire Res, and then a Dungos, and Eth Water Walks for some additional max Fire Res. So you'll see that he's overcap on everything. And I was hoping to have Beast available at least for the first phase of the fight. He just gets one shot. There's no way around it. For our charms, we had to swap into a lot of life and a lot of res. So we have 2 all res small charms here. We swapped into max life and res, max life and some additional damage. And then we actually swapped out to a 34 life, 29 cold res, life on a max damage charm, and then all max damage over here. This was really important because without it, we wouldn't actually be capped on cold. But as far as stat points is enough into strength so that you can strength bug on a Veil of Steel using an IK belt, and then all other points into dex. So this is a no vitality build that just did D-Clone. For our skills, this is my regular multi-shot Zon's skill loadout. So it's max multi-shot, some points into guided arrow with more points into magic arrow to convert more over to magic damage. This is to be able to handle physical immunes in maps, but on D-Clone, a little bit of magic damage doesn't hurt. We're max evade, max dodge, and max crit with enough points to go down to Valkyrie, and that's it. So we didn't max decoy, we didn't max Valkyrie, we didn't max guided arrow, we don't max vitality. This is still a pure damage glass cannon build, and our only res that was above max was actually fire. We really couldn't find a way to get lightning and cold above max without taking away more of our total damage output. On swap, we were 353 call to arms. I never really messed around with the battle cry. you realistically could in a couple different scenarios. Again, I think if I had a million tries to redo this, I could actually swap out more pieces to max damage and also be a lot more aggressive with how I played it. But after the first death, which I'll include a recap of that one as well. First death, a meteor dropped in the middle of a firestorm and I just didn't see it and it one-tapped us. So after that, I was shaken, needless to say. But luckily we got a second attempt in there. There you go. You can do it on your full Buriza max damage build with CTA buff. We are at 1,343 damage, and let me just take off this as well. And our damage on Guided Arrow was 3,000 to just below 10,000. Again, remember, the mercenary dies immediately. But yeah, so there you go. In case you were wondering, hey, can I do this on the BURIZAZON? The answer is yes. Thank you very much for checking it out. I hope this inspires some people to go try it as well. Again, the takeaways are get comfortable with the fight, get your max health up to at least 1,200, be overcapped on fire res, and then after that, it's kind of just a get good. And make sure you don't get hit by a meteor. Thank you. See you in the next video.